From landing humans on the moon to exploring the vast expanse of our universe, NASA has revolutionized our understanding of space and the cosmos. Join us on an epic journey through the history of NASA and witness some of its greatest achievements that have shaped the course of humanity's future. Buckle up, stargazers. It's time to blast off into the incredible world of NASA. And don't forget to share this video with your fellow space enthusiasts. NASA History Overview. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, is responsible for unique scientific and technological achievements in human spaceflight, aeronautics, space science, and space applications that have had widespread impacts on our nation and the world. Forged in response to early Soviet space achievements, NASA was built on the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA, and other government organizations as the locus of U.S. civil aerospace research and development. When NASA opened for business on October 1, 1958, it accelerated the work already started on human and robotic spaceflight. NASA's first high-profile program was Project Mercury, an effort to learn if humans could survive in space. Last 60 years. Over the last 60 years, NASA has continued to push the boundaries with cutting-edge aeronautics research that has dramatically changed the way we build and fly aeroplanes. NASA has also completed the reconnaissance of our solar system with the intense investigation of all the planets. Using orbital spacecraft, like the Hubble Space Telescope, NASA has also dramatically changed our understanding of the universe around us, as well as our planet. NASA, SACHIEVEMENTIS. 10. Explorer-1 satellite. Kicking off NASA's impressive track record of reaching the stars is the Explorer-1 satellite. When the agency formed in 1958, there was a need for speed to showcase America's potential in space, hoping to give the Soviets a run for their money. At a moment when the USSR had successfully shown their early dominance in space, Eisenhower wanted to send a powerful message that America wouldn't sit back and allow its rival superpower the opportunity to be the gatekeepers to space. The Explorer-1 predates NASA's very existence and acted as the means to kick off the U.S. space age and make their mark on the global space race. Thankfully, the mission was a success, launching on January 31, 1958. 9. Skylab. Skylab was the U.S.'s first space station and was launched on May 14, 1973. The mission was to investigate the effects space had on the human body and how it adapted to an intensely foreign environment. 8. Voyager. The Voyager missions were NASA's attempts at sending satellites far beyond where anything from Earth had gone before. Launched in August and September 1977, the twin spacecraft are on a 40-year journey across space to provide insight into what lies in the furthest regions of our galaxy. In August 2012, Voyager 1 made history as it entered interstellar space. In November 2018, Voyager 2 exited the heliosphere and joined Voyager 1 in interstellar space. 7. Freedom 7. Freedom 7, also known as Mercury Redstone 3, is historic for two reasons. For starters, it carried the first American successfully launched into space, following the success of the Soviets launching the first ever human into space, Yuri Gagarin. Second, it acted as a catalyst for John F. Kennedy to announce the United States' intentions to land on the moon. 6. Apollo 13. The Apollo program was one of NASA's most successful programs in the agency's history. However, the Apollo 13 mission is a unique success in that it was a successful failure. Apollo 13 launched on April 11, 1970, with astronauts Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes at the helm. It intended to land on Fremoro, a crater on the moon. However, it would instead never make it to its destination. 5. The Perseverance rover. Since the dawn of the space age, Mars has been of particular interest to scientists. The reason behind this intense interest is because of Mars' position as the most similar planet to our own. Since 1997, NASA has had a presence on Mars thanks to a series of rovers. The first rover to touch down on the red planet was Pathfinder, launched in 1996. Before rovers became the primary tool of Mars exploration, the Viking mission in 1976 resulted in lander modules reaching the surface of Mars to investigate signs of life. 4. James Webb Space Telescope. Less than a decade after the launch of the Hubble telescope, work had already begun on a successor telescope. It would become known as the James Webb Space Telescope. Named after NASA's second administrator, the James Webb Space Telescope has been in development since 1996 and in construction since 2004, with it finally launching on December 24, 2021. 3. Hubble. On April 24, 1990, the Discovery Space Shuttle launched from the Kennedy Space Center, and with it, took what would become one of NASA's most significant efforts to answer the mysteries of space for decades to come, the Hubble telescope. Before Hubble's existence, scientists relied on ground-based light telescopes to help provide a view into space. However, considering the limitations of ground-based telescopes, the images often lacked defined representations of space. 2. The ISS. In 1980, President Ronald Reagan approved the development of the International Space Station, which at the time was a domestic attempt at a space station named Freedom. NASA was given 10 years to build and launch the station. In 1989, with the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States dying down before formally ending in 1990 with the dissolution of the USSR, plans were adapted to make Freedom the International Space Station. This reformation and a complete redesign of the space station were part of an effort to reduce the costs and promote global cooperation in the advancement of science. 1993 saw two former rivals joining forces when Russia agreed to merge their independent space station module to the ISS. Russia joined a growing list of countries contributing to the ISS. 1. Apollo 11. One can't talk about NASA's greatest achievements without mentioning the historic success that was Apollo 11 in 1969. JFK made it clear after the success of Freedom 7 that the United States fully intended to send a man to the moon before the end of the decade. Sadly, he didn't live to see Neil Armstrong take the first steps on the lunar surface, as he was assassinated in 1963. The Apollo 11 rocket launched on July 16, 1969, from Cape Canaveral. 3 astronauts were chosen to be a part of history: Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. It traveled for 4 days before landing on the moon on July 20. It was estimated that an astounding 650 million people watched Armstrong's televised descent to the lunar surface and heard him say the first words ever uttered on the moon. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. As we reflect on NASA's incredible achievements, we are reminded that the sky is not the limit. The pursuit of knowledge and innovation has no bounds, and we must continue to support and invest in scientific exploration. From landing on the moon to exploring Mars and beyond, NASA has shown us what is possible when we dream big and work together towards a common goal. So let's continue to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers, and together we can push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Who knows what incredible discoveries and advancements we will achieve next? So let's keep reaching for the stars. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, or you will miss out on our videos.